Good morning, fellas. Good morning. I honestly wasn't late. I just took about 4 minutes. For a minute there, I thought they weren't going to connect us. I had to reconnect like 3 times to get this thing started this morning. Which reminds me, we've got to make sure that you're over on T_with_B at T_with_B. Make sure, yeah, I was having connection problems here this morning and I got all worried-ish. Not too worried, but worried-ish that things weren't going to go live here this morning. So we were going to have to slip over to the T at T_with_B, the letter B. So make sure you're signed up to that. One of these days we might even have to do a practice run. Pretend that this one isn't working and we'll all shoot over there and see how it works. Excuse me. So I thought the snow was ending yesterday, and it started again this morning. Snow everywhere. Just when we were going to get the shovel out, decided maybe not. Snow everywhere. Fluffy white snow. Got to get me a new phone, and there's B. It wouldn't even start me this morning for about 4 minutes. It was doing the old spinneroo on me. I thought I was going to have to send everybody to at T_with_B. Just the letter. Okay, thanks, B. Do I see a Rosabelle here this morning? Good morning. Rosabelle Lizardo Rosario. It's a pretty name. Good morning, everybody. Did you guys say good morning to Rosabelle? Rosabelle, once in a while when you're new, they give you chocolate donuts here. So somebody shoot Rosabelle a chocolate donut. Kimberly, what a pretty IG post of your gorgeous cat. Again, sincerely, I can feel it. I just can't even imagine the day that it's going to happen over here. But boy, was she a pretty girl. Mel's new. Mel, there's a Mel right there. A Mel G2. Is it Mel G2? Mel as well. Would somebody give Mel a chocolate donut? Mary Jane's here this morning. This is great. Good morning, all. I can't imagine Kim. I mean, I can because I've had to do the same thing with a couple of pets. And, well, I have a story to tell. Sad story. Yes, Melody, I got it, didn't I? I think I got it, and didn't I? Hold on a second. 1 second. Melody, hold on. Melody, Miss Melody. I think I mailed it. You're in Chilcoot, California? Melody Dawn? You're up there in Chilcoot? You're a chilly one? Up in Chilcoot? Okay, it's mailed. It's been mailed. I'll shoot you the details later. But that was sent off yesterday. Okay. Cool. All right. Good morning, everybody. Are you guys still there? Can you guys hear me? I just had another message come across my phone. What the phone is going on around here? Are you guys there? Can you hear me? Okay. Good morning, Neff. I wrote a beautiful letter to you and the fam about T-Rex Bowl. I'm not remembering. Let me see. Let me see. Do a quick check here. Eagle's wings, there it is. Good morning, everybody. Melody Dawn wrote. Okay. I do remember this, Melody. Thank you for reminding me. I actually was planned on reading it, which is why I hadn't replied to you. So good job on you. I'm not all here all the time right now. Here we go. Dear Pops, hello, Melody here. I have no idea why my email will not work, but here goes the fourth try. So she had been trying to reach me. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I won the T-Rex Dino Jaw yesterday morning. The huge shroom. Do you guys remember that monster? It looked like a bowl. Remember the shroom bowl? She goes, the dino jaw. I sure want to shellac the dino bowl to be in a special museum from such a wonderful group and persons. Whomever gave that magic T-Rex bowl to me, I will admire it till I pluck it slowly, like a beautiful white daisy gone with the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. Yeah, that's right. This one got handed down from Freddie to, I forget, 2 people had it. Yeah, it's amazing. I really don't think I could chew up T-Rex, because when the journey is over, I'd probably tear up. It is something to admire, for a story to tell, or in case of an emergency, break glass on display. You know, it's a moral dilemma when you see those really cool big old monsters like that. I do it on purpose, by the way. I'm sending you moral dilemmas. You have to figure out, do I hold on to this forever, shellac it, and put it in the museum? Or do I pluck it slowly? I enjoy the simple things in life, and that's important, that most have forgotten in today's society. I want to thank you again, and be sure to tell the gift giver, thank you for the T-Rex jaw. It's a beauty, and it hasn't even arrived yet. I'm at a loss for words. Much love. And then says, I'm in a rural and snowy area, and they don't really get mail, so it goes to a P.O. box. So that is, you're right. Thank you for reminding me, Melody. That was a lovely letter. And especially in that, there was thanks to the people that had gifted it down the line. So that was pretty sweet. I'm sorry, I keep checking things out because I have a feeling. Send your coordinates. I actually, so yeah, Melody, I sent that off. I'll do an email to you later with your tracking number. Okay? So you can keep track of it coming to you through the snowy passes out there. Okay, let's do a couple of dad jokes this morning. That's true, Jolie. That's true. Because we can always grow more. Am I right? So we don't want to be hoarders. But by the same token, we do want to be, use our heads about what we're doing. Couple of dad jokes. And then we...
Just when you think food cannot possibly call you on your phone, boom. Onion rings. I decided I want to pet you.
We did this one. Sorry.
My therapist told me I have extreme difficulty picking up on social cues. I think she's in love with me.
Yep.
I recently opened a company that sells trampolines, disguised as permats. Profits are going through the roof.
You're welcome, Melody. Profits.
I think she's in love with me.
Okay, Pops. That's enough. Stealing other men's material, other guys' material. That, to me, was funny, though. Trampolines, the profits are going through the roof. That's a good one. Okay. Oreo liked it. Good morning, Oreo. So, yeah. Oh, Pops, you're out of line. Hold on now. What's going on here? Okay, we haven't done this in a little while. So we have to today. Okay? We have to do it today. Rando facto. Rando facto. Wait, where's my machine? Okay, rando facto. Give me 5 people. Give me 5 people that want to do rando facto. Who want to hear a couple of rando factos? We're going to do about 10 minutes of rando facto. We have a neat study coming up on the history of mycology stuff. And then we have maybe 2 readings today. It might go a little long on the readings, but because they dovetail together. Rando facto. Here's one. Tell me if you agree with this. What's going on? I'm very, very sorry. Rando facto. Here we go. A survey. Tell me if you agree with this. Tell me which side are you on this survey? Okay. Well, let me ask it. I'm going to ask it this way instead. And then I'll tell you what the survey says. How many of you would give up a raise to see your supervisor fired? How many of you would give up a raise to see that creepy supervisor fired? No way. Kim's saying, give me the money. I can handle the creep. Okay, so, nope, you guys are all no's. You guys are all no's. I know, but imagine you didn't really care for the boss, Molly. Imagine you don't really care for him. You have to put yourself in that headspace. Of course, we're not firing a cool boss. Okay? But I guess it depends on the supervisor. Okay? A survey conducted in the U.S. workforce shows that over 30% of workers would give up a raise in exchange for seeing their immediate supervisor fired. It is pretty weak survey. It was like somebody just said, it depends. If it's a 5-cent raise, yeah, maybe. $1 raise, I mean, I can handle him or her. That's kind of a dumb one. We need more information before we can make a decision like that, right? We have to actually suffer under the boss for a little while. Okay? We have to suffer. Suffer, I tell you. And then we'll decide. Okay? The 10 documented people who have lived the longest. Lived the longest. Streety's throw the guy out on his tail. I get it, Streety. I'm not doing a job where I don't want to be there. I'm not doing a job where I don't want to be there. I'm good enough that I could go somewhere else, and I'll be an asset somewhere else. I have enough self-confidence that if I'm not comfortable, boop. But I usually, my experience, and I've done it in the past, I usually have it in my back pocket before I bail. I don't bail into the unknown. I've already got a job. I've already got a setup. I've already got the next thing. And then, boop, I'm out. But you never leave someone hanging either. Whenever I've left a job or you ever leave, don't burn bridges. Don't burn bridges. It does, everybody, you give them, their fair notice and you help the next person that's going to take your position. And stay very mature because you're carrying that new you into your new situation. You don't want to go over there being a creep. Okay? No creepy, no creepy. The 10 documented people who have lived the longest range from the years 116 years old to 122 years old. 116 to 122. The 10 oldest people ever are all women. That's pretty cool. How about this one? How about this one? The grandmother of John F. Kennedy. Her name was Mary Josephine Fitzgerald. And John F. Fitzgerald, that's his middle name. He was named after his grandmother. Okay? Well, she outlived him. Okay? And for the rest of her life, after he was assassinated, she was never told that he had been assassinated. She was never told. Well, where'd she think he went? Wouldn't she ask questions? It's like, okay, but where's John? How could they never? I mean, maybe they didn't want to tell her how, but wait, how do you? Surely she reads the paper, Lynette. What do they do? Redact all the papers that she was allowed to see? I'm a little confused. She outlived him, but she was never told about his assassination. I guess there's a kindness to that, but in a way it's not. Just tell her. What would happen to her? Would she I don't get it. She couldn't handle it? That's weird. That family definitely never learned to read good. Billy T goes, that family had a lot of problems. That's weird. Okay? Don't hide it from my grandma. She'll want to know. Studies show when you first meet somebody, what's the first thing that you notice about them? The majority of people, the first thing that they notice about another person, she might have had dementia, maybe, but I'd still whispered it to her. What's the first thing that you notice about a person? Wazzy says smell. Oh, God, Wazzy. Eyebrows. What? What are you talking about? Eyes. Smell. Billy says how they're dressed. Tim says how tall they are. Straighty says, I check out the smile. Have you ever seen Nerdy's smile? Oh my God. What's the first thing? Smell. Laura's on the smell train. What's up with smell? What do? Go up and sniff them? Hey, I don't get it. Have a good day, Michael. And third. Oh, Jesus Christ, you're so out of line. Jesus Christ says he goes straight to the crotch. Jesus Christ. You're trying to break the game. Okay? On the street, he says, turn around. Street, he says, hi. Would you mind turning around? You guys are all so far off. You guys are so wrong. Every one of you. Nobody's even come close to the answer. All right, you guys. And just leave it up to Jesus Christ to lead you down the garden path to Gethsemane or somewhere. Okay? Derek Anderson goes, I start here and then I look up. No, you guys. No. I'm gonna tell you what you notice first. Katie's trying to bring it back to the norm. Pops, I think it's hair color. I think it's hair color. No. Marcus, there's a right answer. There's a survey. Okay? And Derek Anderson just got it. Studies show that most people notice your shoes or whatever you're wearing on your feet on a subconscious level before they notice anything else about you. So all you boob people, you butt people, you eye people, start from the bottom, okay? Hey, start with the shoes, okay? This is why we do Rando Facto. This is why. We read them and we don't believe a single thing they say. Right? I question every Rando Facto from today. Amanda, I notice shoes too. I do. I do. I like to see a guy in a good pair of shoes. Right? Good old pair of, you look at him, oh, yeah, he's cool. He's got a good pair of shoes. And I'm not talking, I don't know tennis shoes. So I don't know if you got the right, I don't know the gear on the tennis shoe situation. Okay? But I check out, like, neat, good shoes. You know who wears good shoes? I'm going to call him out. Streety. Streety wears good shoes. Free would wear good shoes, but he left them at the Mush Fest. And they followed him from Mush Fest to Mush Fest to Mush Fest. And every single time we forget to give them to him. So, sorry about that. Okay. Okay. We're going to do one more. We're going to do one more because this one's going to freak you out. This one's going to freak you out. Wait. You ready? It's true, Free. Your boots have gone around the United States twice, and you still haven't caught up with you. Okay, really good boots, dude. Here we go. This is going to be our weirdo to finish up Rando. You ready for this? I'm not going to believe this one either, Niffy. Just so you know, I'm questioning this one. A bowl of dry cornflakes. Right? Free. They've seen miles and they're brand new. They still have every bit of tread on them. A bowl of dry cornflakes contain about 25,000 more genes than the whole human body. A bowl of cornflakes has 25,000 more genes than I do. What? That's what it says. At the same time, humans have 1,700 more genes than an earthworm. Mark goes, that sounds flaky. Yep, that's the one I want to leave you guys with. We're barely above an earthworm, and a bowl of cornflakes has a just dominates us. Okay? What? Bowl of cornflakes. All right. So we're going to believe it just because they tell it to us. We don't question anything around here. Right. That's a weird one. That's a weird one. Admit it. Okay. We're going to do a giveaway pretty soon. We're going to be giving away something really fun. Okay? We're going to be giving away this umbrella. Mushbrella. It's a mushbrella. Okay, you stand underneath it here, and when it snows or rains, you're covered. Okay? We're going to be giving this mushbrella away. But the reason that I'm teasing you with it is because I want you to stick around for the reading. Okay? Listen, there's something really neat. It's going to take a couple of days to cover this. We're going to be talking about a little bit about history of mushroom cultivation. History of mushroom cultivation. The cultivation itself. Farming. Give me 5 people that think that could be pretty interesting. It's going to take us a couple of days to read this chapter. HB, you're a good guy. It's going to take us about 2 or 3, probably 2 days to get through this. But we're going to be talking about fungal cultivation and the history of it. The fungal cultivation skills used today have a rich history that spans the earth. When mushrooms are around, there'll be war around. That's an old Russian proverb. When mushrooms are around, there'll be war around. That's kind of sad. What a crazy proverb that is, huh? Anyways, the origin of cultivating mushrooms seems to have been in, where do you think? Where do you think the origin of cultivating mushrooms was? Where do you think? Nerdy's saying China, Japan, China, Norwegian, Europe, China, Japan, China. Seems to be China. You guys, you Chinese answerers seem to be correct. China. The origin of cultivating mushrooms seems to have been in China around 600. When Aurelius polytricha was first cultivated by So. 200 years later, Han first cultivated enoki. Some accounts attribute the development of shiitake to the Japanese around 200 CE. However, it seems that the Chinese were actually the first to pioneer this practice around 1000 CE. According to writings by Zhang Xiaozheng, Wu Sanquang developed shiitake cultivation during the Chinese Sung dynasty, which were the years 960 to about 1120. The Sung dynasty in the Lung Xir village in the mountainous regions of the Zhejiang province. Listen, this is kind of funny. As the legend goes, Wu Sanquang frequently hunted wild mushrooms in the forested high mountains surrounding his village. So he's foraging. One day, Kwang discovered that broken tree limbs produced what he called, it's a Chinese word I can't pronounce, but it means nice smelling mushroom. And he discovered that if he cut the logs, the mushrooms would grow larger and in a greater number. But if the mushrooms would fail to appear, he would become angry and beat the logs vigorously. This actually stimulated the growth of more mushrooms. We know this. When we see people growing that shiitake mushrooms, we know that they're beating the logs to get, it stimulates the mycelial network, right? So it's funny, I'm sure he grew angry, beat the log. All of a sudden he got more mushrooms. I'm not sure about that, but okay. So eventually the cultivation process was further refined until in 1313, Wang Chen wrote down a shiitake cultivation protocol in the Book of Agriculture. Sheng described cutting holes in maple, sweet gum, or chestnut logs, and then burying them in the soil for 1 year. Afterwards, the logs were to be covered with branches, leaves, and soil, and frequently watered with kitchen wastewater. A few hours after watering, a wooden club was then used to beat the logs and encourage fruit bodies to appear. This is a process known as jingxiang, which means shocking the mushroom. The practices of cutting, inoculating, soaking, and shocking logs still lie at the core of shiitake cultivation today. He actually wrote the recipe in 1313 protocol. This is the way we do it, and we still use the same practices today. That's pretty cool. The importance of Wu Sanquang's contributions to Chinese agriculture was never forgotten. During the Qing dynasty, 2 major temples were built to honor the man, one in 1739 and another in 1875. So I think their culture thought it was pretty important that this guy figured out how to do it and laid down the information for the rest of the centuries. Come on, man, they built temples to him or in it to honor him. There are also small temples dedicated to Wu Sanquang in almost every mushroom growing village. If you're growing mushrooms in your village, you got a temple to Wu Sanquang. And every year from July 16th to the 19th, on the Chinese calendar, there is an all-day celebration to give thanks to this legendary mycological figure. Never heard of the guy before, but I love him. So he gets a 3-day festival named for him in July. Ooh, Sun Kwang, let's shroom it up. Oh. That's pretty cool. Compared to this rich history, Western cultures took a rather long time to recognize the value of mushroom cultivation. The first European country to practice mushroom growing was, where do you think? The first European country to practice mushroom cultivation. What country? We're talking the 1600s. You guys aren't, is anybody paying attention in class today? I find this stuff really interesting. Jolie. Jolie, as usual, is at the front of the class. The answer is France. The answer is France. That's correct. Good job. The first European country to practice mushroom growing was France, beginning around the late 1600s. Excuse me. This is neat. By 1707, mushrooms were being intentionally grown in French gardens. In 1729, the Italian botanist Pier Antonio Micheli was the first person to describe fungal spores, marking the birth of modern mycology. Nearly 70 years later, Agaricus, agaricus mushrooms began being cultivated in the limestone caves outside of Paris, where temperatures and humidity levels were easy to control. Limestone caves were like their laboratory. These early practices were simple, with non pasteurized horse bedding, straw, and other composted materials serving as the substrate and mycelium from previous crops used as the inoculum. So they would transfer mycelium from a previous crop onto some new straw and get a new crop going. With such non standardized practices, results were often unpredictable, and the art of mushroom cultivation in the West developed slowly. There was no set way to do it, everybody had their own system. I do it in a cave, I use this, I use that, but they're working it. They're growing shrooms in their different gardens and in their different settings, and it's spread across Europe here. Around the turn of the 20th century, protocols rapidly improved. In 1891, New Yorker William Faulkner published the first book on mushroom growing. 1891, the first how to grow mushrooms book. In 1900, Richard Falk determined how to cultivate Pleurotus austriatus, initiating the transition from compost-based substrates to simple agricultural wastes. In 1903, Louis F. Lambert developed the first pure culture brick spawn for agaricus production. A brick spawn. By 1917, cultivators in Pennsylvania had begun developing strains from spores. In the US, the agaricus industry flourished in Long Island, central Massachusetts, Chicago, Michigan, California, and especially southeastern Pennsylvania. This same year, 1917, the mycologist James W. Sinden at Pennsylvania State University, discovered that sterilized, wait for it, wheat grain made a more robust spawn substrate than the composts that were being used up to that point. Hey, you guys, what if we sterilize our grain? Huh? We'll sterilize it. Back then, they called it Tyndallize. There was a guy by the name of Tyndall who had basically created the system where you could sterilize without using a pressure cooker because they weren't using it like that then. They were Tyndallizing it. Okay? So this guy in 1917, that's the first time we decided, hey, I have an idea. Let's sterilize that stuff. And of course, one of the reasons we do sterilize the grain, we take all the competing microbes and everything off of it, and we make it completely inert and open to be bred and spawned by the mycelium that we're going to put on top of it. So it's a faster, cleaner grow, and with virtually no opportunity for, at that point, for contaminations. I can't imagine the early guys that didn't have it all figured out yet. How much tripe do you think that they were experiencing? Oh my God. They had every kind of mold that could possibly attack it, right? Today, grain spawn is the pivotal element in nearly all mushroom cultivation processes. By the 20th century, the evolution of mycology was rapidly increasing. In parallel with the Industrial Revolution, this early era of the mycological revolution set the stage for unprecedented human-fungal relations that are still being defined today. This is good. Just a little bit more for today, and then we'll pick this up tomorrow. In 1919, the pharmaceutical company Pfizer developed practices for mass producing citric acid by growing Aspergillus niger in large vats of sugar water, a practice known as submerged fermentation. After the discovery of penicillin by Alexander Fleming in 1928, this same liquid practice was used to mass produce a wide variety of fungal medicines and economically important enzymes. At the same time, mycological heavy hitters like Alexander H. Smith and Arthur Buller were actively revising fungal biological models and taxonomic schemes. These are the guys that are starting to figure out that it's not a plant and it's not an animal. It's its own queendom. They call it a queendom instead of a kingdom. Okay? They also started setting high standards for naming fungi, followed still by professional and amateur mycologists today. This was also the era of untold number of mycologists and mushroom cultivators endeavoring around the world to decipher the complexities of fungal biology and its role in ecology. Many of these superheroes are remembered in the great halls of Cyber Truffle's Fungal Valhalla. I don't know what that is. At least 60 countries cultivate mushrooms. 60 countries actively cultivate mushrooms, at least. Some of those: China, the United States, Netherlands, France, and Poland are the top producers. China, United States, Netherlands, many of you keep mentioning that, France, and Poland, top 5. While Mexico, Chile, and Brazil constitute 85% of the mushroom growing industry in Latin America. Mexico, Chile, and Brazil. So we have gotten up to 1928 in our handbook. Real quick look at fungal history, cultivation. We'll pick it up tomorrow. We're moving into the second half of the 20th century. And I think you all know that we'll end up right where we are right now. So it was, we'll talk about it tomorrow. The 1990s and the early 2000s, huge boom in the new way to cultivate, the newer ways to cultivate, and it made it so much easier at home. So we'll do that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We're also going to have a question and answer period. So have your questions ready. We'll do a question and answer, talk to you guys about how to grow mushrooms. And if I don't have the answer, many people here will. Okay? Give me 5 people that are saying that works for me, Pops. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll finish the our thumbnail sketch of the history of mycology. And we'll do some questions and answers. Okay? Let's give that sucker away. Let's give this guy away. Thanks, Mush Hunter. Thank you, guys. Okay, here we go. That's very nice of you, Marcus. Here we go. This one's going to be simple. I've got this fella here, right? Don't say anything yet. Don't say anything, because I'm not going to count anything. Because I don't even know it yet. I don't even know how much. I'm going to put this on the scale, and the first 3 people, I take it back. Listen. I take it back. Here's how we're going to do, okay? Give them one answer. Answer one time only. There's 59 people here. We can get up to 59 answers. Give me one answer. How much do you think it weighs in grams and tenths of grams? After I've seen a bunch of answers go by, I'm going to be keeping track here. The things that if I catch it, I've made a mistake last week, but I'm going to the top three, hold on, that come closest. The three people that come closest to the actual number are going to move forward to a spin-off. Okay? So first three people to come closest, and it could be close under or close over. Wait a minute. Go. I'm going to find three people that are very, very close to this number. Okay? Looks like I've got a lot of numbers there. Got a lot of numbers here. Okay. Let's take a look at it. Pretty nice. I'm going to tell you the three people that came the closest. The three people that came the closest. Laura D, I saw yours. You are in the top three. Laura Devine, but I heard her say I would give it away. We sent her something just last week. So Laura, I'm not going to include you in this group, even though you were very, very close. You were there. Okay, you were there. So I'm going to tell you which the other three people, not including Laura. All right? Mush Hunter. You're going to be number one. Mush Hunter. Married Maiko. You're number two. Married Maiko had a 7.9. Mush Hunter was in somewhere around a 7.3. Laura D had a 7.4. And then we saw Calico Kid. Calico Kid's in there. So it's going to be Mush Hunter, Married Michael, Calico Kid. Here we go. Number three, Calico Kid. Calico Kid. Congratulations. Good job on those guessing. We're going to send that to Calico Kid as soon as he sends us. Okay? As soon as he sends us his address. I did not use a magnet. I promise. No magnet. Okay? So congratulations, Calico Kid. RX, don't we love that vintage spinner? Okay. So good job. Good guessing. You guys are getting better and better at that scale game. We're sending Calico Kid a moral dilemma. He has to decide what he wants to do with this. Laura, thank you for your kindness. We're back in our book, The Magic of Surrender. I'm on page 91. We left our heroes on a train station platform in India. Remember that? Learning lessons on a train station platform in India. You don't have to be go all the way to India to learn these lessons. That was just where he finally got it. Take a moment. Take a moment to consider how much of the suffering that you experience stems from your desire to control how things are going, from your demand that situations be different than they are. Traffic, boy, I suffered from that big time. You can't do anything, but I would sit there and seethe and boil and white knuckle. You know, traffic is bad in LA. And I mean, it didn't matter. I'd leave at 6 o'clock in the morning. You're going to get stuck in traffic. A 20-mile drive will take you an hour and a half. In Los Angeles, they do not measure distance in miles. They really don't. They measure it in time. You never tell when you say, "Hey, where do you live?" or "How far away do you live?" You go, "Oh, about 20 minutes, 2 miles." You never answer in miles. You always everything was relative to time. Because it was just, there was just, and I spent a lot of my life in that traffic stressing out. Like, I could make it go faster by stressing. I'm just out of, never road raged, but like internal rage. I might have flipped even a couple of people off. Traffic. Nothing I could do. I couldn't control it. Your boyfriend's inability to commit. You can't control that. Your body. There's so much going on in my body involuntarily I don't control. Your boss being a certain way. The political climate. These are all things I can't control. The inevitable delays in life. Does your resistance to how things are actually resolved? No, excuse me. Does your resistance to how things are actually resolve the situation? Is it really effective? Does your resistance change the outcome? Of course not. Once you're done resisting, the situation's still the same. I'm still sitting in traffic. I'm still locked in, gridlocked. Nothing I did about resisting it got me out of the car or got me closer to an off-ramp. Nothing. Can you imagine if all that time, instead of stressing, I was maybe learning, maybe being kind, maybe trying to spread good energy, maybe rolling down the window and smiling. Maybe the guy next to you is stressing, but your smile would make a difference. I don't know. But I know my resisting didn't help. The only thing resistance accomplishes is to ruin the moment. Right, Free? I didn't resist hard enough. The only thing that's happening as I resist is I'm losing the moment. That's such a good thing to think. Just as I'm getting ready to resist something, I've got to say, but there's a moment here for me. And then if you start putting a moment together with a moment, together with another moment, together with another moment, now you're living moment by moment. As I've thought about that family enjoying their picnic on the train station, savoring their feast, just sitting with one another, no schedule, no to-do list, telling stories, I was overwhelmed with sadness because I couldn't remember the last time I had experienced that with my family. In fact, the kind of connecting that my family enjoyed, in fact, the kind of connecting that family enjoyed on the platform, I didn't share with my mother until I knew she was dying. It is one of the greatest regrets I have, that I didn't spend enough time with my mother, just enjoying the small things. I miss so many picnics with my mother, because I thought I needed to catch a train. I left my mom on the platform in my desire to get to another location. I can say I did spend the last 8 years of life with my mom, and they were the most beautiful time. I gave up trying to chase stuff, and I just was there for mom. We had so much fun together. She loved to go to the casino. My brother hated me for taking my mom to the casino. It's so irresponsible. You know what, Mom? If that's what Mom wants, there's someone there watching her. There's someone there that's got her back. I ended up turning into a professional poker player. I got a job working at the casino. I was one of the house players because they liked my mom so much. Because my mom was such a sweet person. They're like, well, maybe he's a little chip off the old block. I don't know. Resistance robs us of the ability to embrace all that life is trying to offer. If we'd only open our eyes and look around. There's another way. Let me tell you about Lady Gaga. The famous Grammy-winning award artist and Oscar-nominated actress. She sold millions of records and sold out arenas across the globe. But her journey has not been easy. What many people don't know is that she struggled with chronic pain for many years, to the point it was debilitating. She shared her story of how she learned to deal with her pain as she sat on the stage with Oprah, and she shared the unusual advice of one of her doctors. He said, "You need to radically accept that you are going to be in pain every day." And I was like, are you kidding me? That's how I'm going to heal? By just accepting that I'm going to feel awful all of the time? That I'm going to be in head-to-toe pain constantly? And he said, yeah, you have to radically accept that. And guess what? It took a little while, but I did. And you know what happened after that? Slowly, the pain dissipated. And then all of a sudden, I could function. Lady Gaga says that accepting pain changed her life. Rather than waking up every day, her reality, resisting it, trying to control it, change it, overcome it, she learned to accept it, which gave her the power that she was trying to give to her all along. To become more than a superstar, but to become a messenger of hope for the millions who struggle with chronic pain alongside her. When she accepted her pain and learned to surrender to it fully, her pain transformed from a burden to a blessing. It finally revealed its purpose. This does not mean she does not feel pain or that there aren't some hard days, but she's no longer suffering. She's no longer trying to negotiate her way into a different situation. So let me suggest that to experience the magic of surrender, we must stop our resistance and surrender that illusion of control. And a little bit more here. I'm going to go a little bit further. Today's an important day. Everybody's still here. We're all paying attention. There's a lot of people that suffer from chronic pain. I can't tell you I understand it. I can tell you I have a son who literally every day his muscles are cramped. in some way or another. When I watch him, I have a human example that I live with. Not ever, ever, ever does anything come out of his mouth about how bad he feels. He's flipped it somewhere. I don't know where he did it and how he did it, but he's lived like this for his whole life. And I don't know how it happened, but it's chronic, it's there, but he's so far beyond it. He lives beyond it. At its heart, resistance stems from us wanting things to go our own way. We want the train to show up on time. We want the promotion to come when we want it. We want the pain to disappear immediately. We want a child exactly the way and exactly on the timelines that we planned. We begin to negotiate with life and try to make it do what we want. We get fixated on life being a certain way in order for us to be happy. This just makes you a slave. Events don't have to go a certain way for you to be happy. That's an illusion. That belief stems from an attachment to ego and what it wants. But remember who you truly are as a soul. And there's a bigger picture than you can currently perceive. We're just a little ripple in the whole big old ocean. I don't know which waves are coming. I don't know which ripple's coming next. There's stuff out there I can't even perceive. I'm just going to be the best ripple I can be. Moment by moment, it's floating along. I'm not going to fight a wave. I'm not going to find another ripple either. I'm just ripping along. What if you don't need to be in the driver's seat to get where you need to go? What if you don't need to be the driver? And in fact, in a few years, self-driving cars, you won't need one. You'll be able to use a self-driving car. Consider that your current day control strategy is just a reaction to helplessness. You're feeling helpless. So you got to control. Control has a place, but it isn't the answer we think it is. We have worshipped at the altar of control, making it a god in our life. There is another way. You can honor and love and appreciate that part of you that learned to control and still take it off the altar. It has done a good job. It meant well. But you can take it off the altar now. It doesn't have to be the driving force in your life. There is so much more available when you let go and begin trusting life, even just a little bit more. Allowing yourself to be open to what life has in store. What's the next ripple? What's the next wave? Surrender isn't just for nuns and monks. Lady Gaga is a powerful, successful, talented artist, having a global impact in the real world. Yet even she acknowledges that surrender has been an essential ingredient to her success. Remember when I said letting go? I'm almost done. Remember when I said letting go leads to more? On that couch with Oprah, Lady Gaga said, when I talk to God, now I say, tell me what to do. Tell me what to say. Tell me how to say it. And help me see the path. If you show me the path, I will walk down it. I'll look where that path leads. I'm sitting right next to you. Can you see what is possible when we surrender? For those of you who might be afraid and thinking the worst, that you won't get what you want, or you're going to end up broke, single, and homeless, think again. I may not have a crystal ball to tell you where surrender is going to lead you. But for this Lady Gaga, it led to the Oscars, to the Grammys, to her next level of purpose. It will lead you somewhere magical. Boy, I know this. And the journey all along the way is going to be a hell of a ride. Surrender doesn't have a neat and tidy resolution. Sometimes surrender means you take action, and other times surrender means you wait. If you're in a job you hate, surrendering might look like fully accepting that you hate your job. Even if you don't quit, because you have a wife and kids and a mortgage, it's powerful to acknowledge and accept what is. Then you can surrender to the fact that you don't need to stay in your job for the moment, out of duty and responsibility to your family. Rather than complaining and resisting, you radically accept. You tell the truth. You focus on what you're grateful for. You do your job with excellence, learning the lessons that you need to learn, where you are, fully knowing that's not your final destination. You can hate your job. Do it the very best you possibly can. You're going to find out you're not concentrating on the job. You're concentrating on your own personal growth. You can thank a lousy job for helping you grow better. You know that? This is what surrender looks like in real life. Because you're no longer resisting. You'll be open to following the signs about when it's time to leave. I know surrender can seem scary. That loosening grip on control can feel terrifying. But just imagine where surrender might lead you. If you can surrender control, you can open up to new paths, new possibilities, and even greater purposes will be unfolding. It's also true. We just have to always remind ourselves it's a new programming. So sometimes I have to say it over and over and over. It's a new program. My new program is I don't want to be in control. My new program is I want to experience each moment. I want to be more open. So if I'm resisting, I know I'm not open. I'm closed. I'm resisting. I don't want to be that. I want to be open. I want to be available. And it's practice. Because that isn't what we were taught. That isn't what we were taught. We were taught a completely different message. So it takes time. We reiterate this stuff here on the show because it's our practice. This is where we go to lift our weights. You guys, I'll see you here tomorrow. Same much time, same much channel. We'll pick up the rest of that 20th century history, and we'll have some great readings and some games and fun and laughter and hugs. Okay? Go have a great day. HB and Marcus. HB's letting go. And Derek Anderson. Marcus. And HB and Nerdy and Billy D. I'm not sure what's going on, Marcus. But thank you. Amanda, yes. Mike Barball, D. Anderson, Amanda, I'm glad you're here. HB and Corey D, thank you. One more. Excuse me, HB, Derek Anderson, Michael. Dive into the unknown. Make it known, right? It'll always be unknown until we dive. Mike Barball, Laura Young, good morning. There's my Laura. Calico, Jolie, hello Joe. Oh, Anthony T, Big Man, Mush Hunter, Classic, thank you, Herbs and Marcus and Oreo. Good job, Oreo. Nippy and Derek Anderson and Sanum and Bud and Jesus Christ in Australia. Billy D, Sandman, Laura, have a divine day. Notorious and RX and Amanda and Catzilla and Free and Mike and John O'Neill. I'm glad you did come across us. Thank you. Shy and Melody Dawn and Amanda and Michael, Shanti, Married Michael, Nerdy and Nipper and Jesus Christ and Bill D and Laura Young and Amanda. Of course you'll be back because we've got the Riz, Calico, John O'Neill, Jesus Christ, Justin OK, Jesus Christ, Mike and Deborah. Hello, Deborah. I missed my pearl. Oreo, Derek Anderson, Married Michael Croaky. Croak 'em if you got 'em. Melody Dawn, Brand, Melody, lovely letter, thank you. Jesus Christ, Mike, and West Smoky Oreo, Rick, the Aussie Rick, Sanum, and Derek Anderson, Pops, Peace. 4 things. We're practicing impeccability. The words coming out of our mouth are pure magic. We can use our spells in many different ways. So then we're going to not take things personal. We also have no expectations. We're just going to do without expectation, and we're going to do our best. Those 4 things. Guys, go have a beautiful day.